Hello and welcome back. Just the busiest week. I've never made this many videos in a week, but I'm really excited. Just got done watching the presentation for not the Ford. I'm so used to talking about the Ford Lightning. Chevy's in the chat now. They just entered, and pretty cool overall. I've got some thoughts. I did end up making a reservation like within minutes of the window opening, just so I have it in case I want it, because there's things that I really like about this new Chevy Silverado. There's things that I hate. I mean, it's looking like a Orca. It's looking like a Honda Ridgeline. It's okay. I overall like the inside is like jaw-droppingly fantastic. Let's go one by one. I'm going to pull it up on the screen and we can talk about it. Let's go. So first of all, let's summarize what happened at the unveiling at CES today. It's January 6th. No, it's January 5th. And I'm going to say Ford. I guarantee I know I'm going to miss one of these, and I'm going to say Ford. Chevy, they just finally unveiled like a couple EVs actually. So during this presentation, we finally got to see the Silverado and all of its Orca glory. And we also got to see a hint at the Equinox, which is really interesting. And I maybe even should do a video all about that, because I think they said the price point is $30,000 for this thing. I could see a lot of just everyday people really, really appreciating that, because the Bolt, one of the biggest gripes I had with it, the Bolt EUV, the Chevy's like biggest electric vehicle right now, is it's a little small. But if they can do it in the size of an Equinox, which just, at least where I live, everyone owns the Equinox. Like every other driveway has an Equinox in it. So they're doing that. And I just think it'll be a total hit, especially at the price point that they announced at $30,000. Just blows my mind. Maybe the range will only be like 100 miles at that price, but we'll see when it comes out, which again, like all of this stuff is slated for a year from now. So I'll skip to the end where they said Chevy is leading. No one else has, or GM is leading, and no one has this lineup. That's great. They have all these announced, but at the same time, you just showed us pictures. You just showed us mostly CGI images. Like, yeah, you also said you have a hover car that looks like a drone, but hey, that's all pictures right now. Like, so you can say you're leading, but I could say I'm leading for my car company. You guys didn't hear? Yeah, Larry Automotive, I actually have 2,000 new EVs dropping in 5 years from now. So no one has that many as I do, because I have the most. So I'm leading the industry, which is great. I'm super proud of me and my team, and it feels really good to be leading the industry in EVs. So it's me, then Chevy. So stupid. I think you get what I'm trying to say here, though. So the other thing they announced is the Blazer. No photos of that, but I think that'd be pretty fun. My wife actually owns a current Blazer right now. I think we're in the middle of trying to trade that in. Actually, she likes it and everything. It's just a little dull overall. It's a great vehicle. It's faster than I thought it would be. It looks pretty cool overall, but I think we're going to trade it in and maybe get another Jeep. Again, that's for something else too. But yeah, that's basically what we got to see today. A couple concept vehicles at the end of the video. And then again, Mary's up there saying that they're leading EV right now, which is cool. They also announced some cool partnerships with FedEx and Walmart, where they're getting more electric vehicles out there. And that's great. I'm so happy that we're making that push forward. So good for them. And it's pretty exciting. They introduced their new Ultium as well. Their Ultium batteries, which is just kind of their design of how they're doing batteries. So that was basically the whole thing in a nutshell. But let's talk about why we're here, the Silverado EV. Other than the fact that it looks like an Orca and or a Honda Ridgeline, there's one thing I want to address real quick. So I watched the presentation with my dad. He is a current Silverado driver. He owns a ICE Silverado. He loves it. He drives it. And he made a reservation with me. We both ended up making a reservation. So he was really excited. He loved the body lines. So that tells me that they did something right. If they converted, at least my sample size is 1 for this, but if they converted him, something tells me a lot more current Chevy owners might also be excited about this vehicle, which is a good sign. And let's talk about the specs real quick. So GM, one huge caveat, they kept bragging about the 400 mile range. I hope everyone caught this. It's a GM estimated. It's not EPA estimated or EPA targeted, which is just as bad, but it means that it probably won't end up being 400. That's a huge number to hit, especially with these hauling numbers and all this stuff they're talking about. 400 would be amazing, and maybe they will, but it's still GM estimated mile range. So please just like don't get your hopes up on that. I mean, if they're marketing it that way, maybe we should get a little excited, but I would still kind of tread lightly on that. Horsepower, 664 horsepower with more than 780 pound-feet of torque. And that means we're going to have very similar numbers to the Ford Lightning, hitting at about 4.5 seconds, 0 to 60. Not bad. I mean, it had to do that to compete. So let's also talk about the charging. They did say that it will provide up to 350 kilowatts on a charge, and they also had a point where they think they can have it add, I think it was 100 miles in 10 minutes. They also hit all the Ford Lightning must-haves, like vehicle-to-vehicle charging. They had a demonstration of that. Kind of, again, it's just all CGI rendering of a tool that will do it, but they have it. They also mentioned like for like this long that it can do the house backup just like the Ford Lightning can. So they're checking all the boxes, which is a must. So they're at least not dropping the ball. And that was the main thing, at least everyone I know was looking for in this presentation, is that they wouldn't screw it up and say, we're doing this 200-mile range truck that has no features. Like, that could have happened, and luckily it didn't. Payload for towing, it looks like they hit 1,300 pounds of payload, towing up to 10,000 pounds. They also briefly said that a later model will tow up to 20,000 pounds. That's a big number. Like, I don't know what to say about that. It's cool, but also they just said coming later. So we'll see if that actually ever happens. Now let's quickly talk about the design. So I know I've already said it 100 times, but it looks like a Orca whale meets a Honda Ridgeline. It works for some people. Like I said, my dad really likes it. I like it overall. Don't get me wrong. I put a reservation and I could see myself owning one of these, especially if the range hits these numbers like it says it will. And the inside is gorgeous. I love what they did with the bed too. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's a standard 5 foot 10 inch. Right here, 5 foot 11 inch bed. However, the seats will go down in the back of the truck, which lets you put stuff and extend your bed essentially to 10 feet. That's like a no-brainer idea. Like, I like that. And I believe it was also in an earlier Chevy model. My dad was telling me about that too. I think the Avalanche did that. So they took over a good feature and brought it in. There's a bunch of pictures of like kayaks in the back, paddle boards, that kind of stuff. I think it's great. It's a really cool feature. Now the tech in it, the 17-inch screen plus the instrument cluster of the 12 inches up front, home run. I think they did a great job. It looks really high tech, futuristic. They hit all like the EV must-haves, cool features in the center console and everything. Plus, I believe they mentioned, now they didn't confirm it really, but they mentioned that that's the inside, that those screens are going to be standard across the board, even in the work truck version. So from their, I don't want to skip to pricing, but from their base to their highest, it should maintain that really cool look on the dashboard, which I really like. It's just cool. And speaking of their tech real quick, because my wife does have the Blazer right now, it's a 2022, I believe, maybe 2021. The tech in it really isn't bad. The screen's small for the one she has. Like, I think it's like 7 inches, maybe 8. And it's okay, but it's quick. It does Apple CarPlay really well. It's responsive. It's the user interface is like not like high tech looking, but it's super user friendly and it's reliable. So I have confidence that Chevy will do something decent on this super high tech version. And they also talked about, of course, their Super Cruise, which is comparable to Ford's Blue Cruise, which is coming out, or Tesla Autopilot and all of that fun, cool auto driving stuff. That I would not bank on yet because still there's so much trial and error and all that stuff. So that's my overall thoughts on aesthetics and tech going into it. Overall, I like it. I think at least they tried something really kind of unique. Like, I think it's, even if it's a little ugly, which I do kind of think it's a little ugly, I got to give them kudos for taking a swing, because Ford, I like too, obviously, but they just copy and pasted what they have, but made it electric. They just made an electric F-150. At least this is going to stick out a little. It looks cool, and they didn't just like add a light in the front. That's probably my least favorite part, by the way, that they copied Ford's light bar, but just put a Chevy logo that just like looks like they're like, oh shoot, we forgot to put the Chevy bow tie on it. I don't know, let's just put it in the middle, I guess. So at least that's what I feel like it looks like. I don't know. Other than that, it's a cool vehicle. So the final thing we have to talk about is price. And what the heck? So looking at the prices right now, I went ahead and reserved. I was ready to reserve actually the big dog. I was like, there's no way this thing's going to be more than like 75, 80K. And I thought that because the Honda, because of the Hummer starting at 80K for that base range. However, this thing starts at 100K, this RST version. That's probably too much if you ask me. What's interesting is I just went to go look at the price again because I know it was in the hundreds. They've already taken it off. Looks like they hit their limit of what they were going to do reservation wise. That makes me wish I would have just put a reservation on that so I had it. Bummer. But at the same time, I was never going to pay $100,000 for a Chevy pickup truck. It's just, I don't know. I'm not going to do that. I would go Hummer, I think, if I'm spending that much money. I think most people would, at least I thought, or GMC Sierra when that comes out. That feels like it should be in the $100,000 range, not a Chevy Silverado EV. However, the work truck version, they're coming in at the 40. We really don't know a lot about it. It says it's going to start at $39,000. They have the WT and RST version. It kind of sucks because I got a little excited about it, and I'm having just flashbacks to the Ford Lightning of like, okay, this looks cool, but I haven't seen anything yet, and it's not coming out till, what does it say? Summer 2024. What? I guess at least I have an early reservation in case I'm really in the market for one of these by then. I think that's my overall thoughts on this too. If I could wrap this up, is I'm really excited at what I saw. It's great. I love that we have more competitors entering, but at the same time, it's hard to get excited about something that's just still so far away, whereas Ford is like really still entering soon. They're going to get away with the price hikes they did because there's no competition, at least for not another 2 or 3 years. They could charge more if they want to, because if you want an EV truck, it's them or Rivian. Again, I appreciate you guys watching so much. I'm out, but I mean, reservations for Ford Lightning are supposed to come out tomorrow. So fingers crossed I get some news on that, and I'll be right here making a 4th video this week. My camera is sick of me. You probably are getting close too. So I'm out. Thank you guys. Bye.